The morning sun, instead of promising warmth, announces a new test of endurance, a challenge that renews with each sunrise. On the faded yellow plains, life moves at a pace of urgency, driven by the most primitive instinct, the need to survive. The savanna, once lush, now reveals itself in its cruelest form, with dry rivers and vegetation that slowly disappears. The silence that hangs in the air is not one of peace, but of a palpable tension, the prelude to the grand and brutal battle for life. More than 1 million wildebeest, zebras, and gazelles gather in a single army, moved by an invisible force toward an uncertain destination. The journey is not a choice, but an imposition of nature, a pilgrimage that separates the weak from the strong. The dry air raises clouds of dust that cover the sun, transforming the sky into a vast canvas of gray tones. With every step, the earth stretches out like an empty promise, a desert that demands courage and an unwavering faith in a distant oasis. The newborn calves are pushed by their mothers, forced to learn to run even before they can walk. Their small, once fragile hooves are strengthened by the determination to move forward, for staying behind means certain death. The heat is a burden that drains energy, and with each passing hour, exhaustion becomes a silent and lethal predator. The herd moves as a single entity, with the oldest and most experienced leading the way, sensing the direction of the wind and the smell of water. The destination is a question mark on the horizon, but the path is guided by the memory of a place that offers food and life. Migration is the cycle that unites all creatures, the link that transforms predators and prey into participants of the same spectacle. The savanna, in its grandeur, does not forgive mistakes, and with each passing day, the mortality statistics silently increase. The race for water is a dance that has lasted for millennia, with each generation learning to adapt to ensure the survival of its lineage. The sound of hooves on the cracked earth is like the drum of life, a melody that announces perseverance against the fury of nature. Predators who once waited in hiding now intensify their search as the dry season increases their hunger and the need to. Hunt. The landscape transforms into an arena where brute force meets agility and cunning in a daily battle. Life in the savanna is not about comfort, but about adaptation, a constant game of chess where every move is vital. Thompson's gazelles, with their impressive speed, try to escape the clutches of death, but the journey also weakens them. The wildebeest, with their unwavering strength, forge a path through the sparse. Vegetation, trusting in the resilience they have been given. In every gaze, in every step, there is a mix of hope and despair, the duality of life that manifests in its purest form. The lack of rain is a constant reminder that human dominance over nature is an illusion, and that the savanna still commands its destiny. Each night, the herd's camp is a brief moment of truce, where exhaustion overcomes fear for a few hours. But dawn brings with it the same urgency, the same relentless sun, and the same journey that must be completed. Gazelles, which can survive longer without water, act as scouts, searching for signs of life in the most inhospitable areas. Elephants, with their intelligence and memory, become the guardians of hope, guiding other animals to secret water sources. Hyenas and lions move in the shadows, observing the herd, choosing the exact moment for the attack. They do not attack out of malice, but out of necessity, fulfilling their role in the cycle of life that nature has established. The wildebeest's run is not just a flight, but an act of faith in themselves and in the strength of their herd, their only protection. The smell of water, carried on the breeze, is the most awaited sign, a fragrance that renews the energy and spirit of all. The journey is a test for the body and mind, a challenge that demands not only physical strength, but an unbreakable will. The weakest and oldest, unable up are left behind, fulfilling their role in sustaining the food chain. It's a brutal but necessary cycle, where the sacrifice of one ensures the survival of others, maintaining the harmony of the ecosystem. The savanna, in its essence, teaches us about impermanence, about the beauty that lies in struggle and resilience. Mothers, who protect their young with their own lives, show us that love can be the most powerful force in nature. Rivers, once flowing, now become just a memory, but their absence teaches everyone about the importance of every drop. The spectacle of migration is a reminder that, even in the face of immense dangers, life always seeks a way to persevere. Every footprint on the cracked earth is a mark of history, a record of the journey of courage and hope that repeats every year. The unity of the herd is not a choice, but a necessity, the only guarantee that the path to the promised paradise will be reached. The savanna does not offer life for free. It demands it, and the price is paid with sweat, with fatigue, and often with life itself. The race against time is an internal battle, where the mind and body must be stronger than exhaustion. The smell of rain, even if distant, is a promise that nature makes, a promise that sustains the hope of a new beginning. The 1,000-mile journey is a testament to the strength of life, the will to persevere, and the belief in a greener future. With their imposing presence and ancient wisdom, elephants emerge as the true architects of the savanna, capable of reshaping the landscape with colossal force. Their steps are not just a journey, but a way of creating life, molding the terrain so that other creatures can benefit. An elephant's trunk, a tool of power and sensitivity, not only seeks food but also digs for water, a miracle beneath the dry earth. When all surface water sources dry up, the elephant herd becomes the last hope, guided by the matriarch who holds the map of underground. Springs in her memory. With their tusks, they break through the hard soil, unearthing the moisture hidden deep within, an act of generosity for all who follow them. The pools they create, once graves, now become oases, attracting herbivores of all species in a thirst-quenching truce. Elephants do not move alone, but as a unified community, where each individual protects the others, ensuring the survival of all. The sound of their infrasound calls, inaudible to humans, travels for miles, communicating dangers and guiding the herd in unison. Their large ears, which act as natural radiators, control their body heat, allowing them to survive in temperatures that would kill other species. They are not just predators or prey, but the guardians of balance, the beings that sustain life and shape the environment around them. Elephants are seed dispersers, spreading life wherever they go, planting new forests and ensuring the future of the ecosystem. On their journey, they knock down trees, creating spaces for sunlight to reach the soil, allowing new grasses to grow. Their role in the savanna is unique, a blend of strength and intelligence, showing that true power is not just about force, but about the ability to nurture. Other tiny engineers, ants and termites, work tirelessly underground, building subterranean empires. Their mounds, which rise on the landscape, are true fortresses, air conditioning systems that regulate temperature and humidity. The precisely excavated tunnel networks protect their colonies from the brutal heat, ensuring survival in a world that seems hostile. They are not just builders, but also a vital source of food, sustaining other insect and bird species. Ants and termites prove that the grandeur of life is not just in size, but in the ability to organize and work as a team. They are proof that even the smallest beings can play a gigantic role in maintaining the harmony of the ecosystem. Migratory birds, with their tireless wings, traverse the skies in search of new food sources, defying distance and fatigue. Flamingos, in their vibrant pink, move like colorful clouds, following the promise of salt lakes that guarantee their survival. The hummingbird, with its impressive speed, seeks nectar in rare flowers, an act of life that ensures the pollination and reproduction of plants. Amidst the dust and heat, birds become messengers of life, showing that perseverance can overcome any obstacle. The role of pollinators, often overlooked, is crucial. The true gardeners of the savanna, ensuring the flowering of grasses. Each species, from the largest elephant to the smallest insect, has its role, its importance, its contribution to the life unfolding on the plains. The ecosystem is a complex tapestry where every thread, no matter how insignificant it may seem, is essential to the beauty and strength of the whole. The savanna teaches us that power is not about dominating, but about coexisting, about respecting the role of each creature in the great cycle of life. The intelligence of elephants and the organization of termites are examples that nature, in its perfection, always finds a way. The journey of the savanna's creatures is a reminder that cooperation can be stronger than competition, and that unity is the key to success. Nature, with its ancient wisdom, distributes tasks, ensuring that every being, regardless of its size, has a vital mission. The sunlight, which was once a threat, is now the force that drives life, activating the cycles of growth and renewal. Elephants, in their majesty, remind us that true leadership is about guiding, protecting, and serving the community. They who seem so invincible are also vulnerable, and their role in the savanna is an act of balance, of giving and receiving. Ants, with their impeccable organization, show us that discipline and teamwork can overcome any challenge. Termites, which build imposing structures, prove that innovation can be found anywhere, even under the earth. The savanna sky, which witnesses all the dramas, is the silent witness to the perseverance of the creatures. The journey of the savanna's engineers is a symbol of hope. A promise that life always finds a way to thrive. Nature, in its genius, created a perfect system where every creature contributes to the beauty and complexity of the whole. The cycle of life is not about the strongest, but about the most adaptable, the one who knows how to coexist and cooperate. The savanna, in its essence, is a stage where the grandeur of nature is revealed in every small action and in every great movement. The struggle for water is a recurring theme, but the way the savanna adapts to this struggle is what makes it so fascinating. Life here is not just about survival, but about contribution, about giving something back to the ecosystem. The digging elephant, the building termite, the flying bird, they all play their part in the symphony of life. The savanna is a natural laboratory where every life experiment is a lesson in strength, resilience, and cooperation. And in the end, the greatest lesson the savanna gives us is that life, even in the harshest conditions, is always a source of miracles. With the sunset, the savanna transforms, plunging into a darkness where the true sovereigns take the stage. The cold night air brings with it a new kind of tension, and the sounds of daytime life give way to the whispers of a silent hunt. The sharp eyes of the lions gleam in the darkness, their presence announced by a roar that echoes for miles, warning those who dare to invade their territory. Lionesses, with their agility and intelligence, move like shadows, coordinating in a lethal dance to corner their prey. The hunt is not an act of malice, but a precise science, where every step is calculated and every strategy is tested by hunger. The power of their jaws, capable of crushing bones, is the tool that nature gave them to fulfill their role in the cycle of life. Lions don't hunt for sport, but to feed their pride, to ensure that the cycle of life is maintained and that the savanna remains in balance. They are the guardians of the food chain, the ones who prevent the overpopulation of herbivores and the degradation of the ecosystem. A male lion's mane is not just an adornment, but an armor that protects its neck in fierce battles, a symbol of dominance and strength. They move in a world that is invisible to humans, guided by a keen sense of smell and a vision that penetrates the darkness of the night. Hyenas, with their sinister laugh, gather in clans, a matriarchal society that moves with impressive coordination. Their bite force, even more powerful than that of lions, is the tool that allows them to crush bones, extracting every nutrient from carcasses. Hyenas are not just scavengers, but also skilled hunters, capable of chasing their prey for long distances until exhaustion. They play a crucial role as cleaners of the savanna, ensuring that carcasses do not accumulate, preventing the spread of diseases. The fight between lions and hyenas is not just a rivalry, but a confrontation of power, where brute force meets intelligence and teamwork. The nocturnal savanna is a stage where every creature plays its part, where life and death meet in a ballet of survival. The cheetah, the fastest runner in the world, is the master of speed, a silent assassin that camouflages itself in the landscape. The tear marks on its eyes are not just a detail, but a perfect adaptation that reflects the sunlight and improves vision during the hunt. The cheetah's slender and aerodynamic body is built for explosion, for a chase that lasts only a few seconds, but that demands the maximum amount of energy. Its hunt is not about strength, but about cunning and speed, choosing the weakest prey to optimize energy expenditure. They are ambush hunters, the ones who use the element of surprise to secure their meal before other, larger predators arrive. The night in the savanna is a realm of paradoxes, where the beauty of a starry sky contrasts with the brutality of a hunt. Leopards, masters of invisibility, move in the trees, their spotted bodies blending perfectly with the shadows. They hunt alone, relying on their strength and agility to surprise their prey, dragging them to the highest branches. The nocturnal life of the savanna is a spectacle of tactics and intelligence, where every creature has its strategy to survive. The owl, with its sharp night vision, flies silently, an aerial predator that hunts the smallest rodents. The sound of a hunter's paws in the tall grass is the sound that makes a prey's heart pound, a constant reminder of danger. The cycle of hunt and flight renews every night, an eternal game of life and death that maintains the balance of the ecosystem. Predators are not enemies, but essential participants in the ecosystem, the ones who ensure that only the strongest and most fit prevail. The stars in the sky watch this drama, a spectacle that is brutal, but also of a unique beauty. The cold of the night is a relief for those who fled the sun, but also a new layer of danger that requires caution. Lions and hyenas compete for the same prey, a confrontation of power that shapes the dynamics of the food chain. The cheetah, which lacks the strength to fight, must eat quickly before the carcass is stolen by larger predators. The nocturnal savanna is a realm of whispers, of gleaming eyes and moving shadows, where every sound has a meaning. The prey, which rests during the day, must now be on high alert, as the night is the most dangerous time. Life in the savanna teaches us about fragility and strength, about the need to adapt to survive in an unpredictable world. The darkness is not an enemy, but a disguise, a cloak that protects and hides those who need to hunt. The roar of the lion, which echoes on the plains, is the sound of the natural order, the voice that commands the food chain. Hyenas, with their social organization, prove that unity can be stronger than the force of a single individual. The cheetah, with its impressive speed, reminds us that excellence in a single skill can be the key to victory. The nocturnal savanna is a symphony of sounds and movements, an orchestra that plays the music of life and death. The smell of blood in the air is a signal for the trail that leads to the banquet of life. Hyenas, with their intelligence, use the numerical advantage to defeat their rivals, even if they are stronger. The predator's journey is a never-ending cycle, a constant search for food that ensures their survival and that of the ecosystem. The sound of a running prey in the darkness is the signal the hunters were waiting for, the music that announces the battle. The nocturnal savanna teaches us that fear can be a guide, an instinct that warns us about invisible dangers. The silence that settles after a hunt is the moment of mourning, the end of a life that will sustain others. The predator's life is not easy. They also fight for survival, facing hunger, thirst, and competition. The nocturnal savanna is a realm of contrast, where the beauty of the sky clashes with the brutality of the hunt. The night in the savanna is a stage for the strongest, the most cunning, and the most adaptable. They move in a world that most humans will never see, a world of shadows and instincts. The darkness is not a limit, but an opportunity for those who know how to use it to their advantage. The cycle of life and death is an eternal ballet, a spectacle that repeats every night. The kings of the night, in their majesty, remind us that nature is powerful and that life is a constant battle. The nocturnal savanna is proof that life, even in the most difficult conditions, always finds a way to thrive. The water, which in the dry season is a refuge, transforms into a treacherous trap where the king of the waters reigns with a terrifying patience. The Nile crocodile, with its imposing body and scale-covered skin, is a predator from an ancestral era, a survivor of millennia. It moves like a shadow beneath the surface, its eyes the only sign of life, observing every movement of the approaching prey. Its bite force, the most powerful in the animal kingdom, is a mortal weapon that crushes bones and destroys lives in a single motion. The crocodile's patience is legendary. It can wait for hours, even days, for the perfect moment for the attack. The riverbank, which attracts the thirsty, becomes the stage for a deadly dance where the need for life clashes with the threat of death. The crocodile does not move on impulse, but on calculation. It understands that the easiest prey is the one that is most exhausted and desperate. The dry season, which weakens most animals, gives the crocodile an advantage, concentrating all prey in the few remaining water sources. Its attack speed, which defies its body mass, is an explosion of power that gives the prey no chance to escape. The river, which was once a barrier, becomes a corridor of death, a tunnel to hell that must be crossed to reach paradise. The crossing of the wildebeest and zebras is a spectacle of chaos and courage, where every step can be the last. Panic spreads, and the frantic run in the water becomes a fight for life, with screams of desperation echoing on the plains. The crocodile, in its brutality, fulfills its role as the reaper, maintaining the balance of herbivore populations. It has no mercy, but also no malice. It is merely a force of nature, a part of the cycle that creation has established. The death of a zebra in the river is a sacrifice that feeds the life of the crocodile and other predators that feed on carcasses. The river, which was a promise, becomes a grave, but it is also a purifier, a place where life is tested. And the strongest prevail. The savanna teaches us that the beauty of the world can be found in brutality, in the honesty of life and death. The journey of the savanna's creatures is a reminder that life is a constant battle, where peace is only a brief moment of truce. The Nile crocodile, with its prehistoric appearance, is a symbol of nature's eternity, of its ability to stay at the top of the food chain. The water, which is the final point of the journey for some, is the starting point for others, a source of life and a place of danger. The strength of a crocodile is not just in its bite, but in its patience, in its ability to wait for the right moment. They are predators that blend with the landscape, that become part of the environment. To deceive their prey. The fear that the wildebeest and zebras feel as they approach the river is an instinct that keeps them alive, a warning of the invisible danger. The sound of the crocodile attacking is an explosion of water and blood, a spectacle of horror that happens in a matter of seconds. Life in the savanna is a constant struggle, a dance between the hunter and the prey. Where victory is temporary and defeat is final. The journey through the river is a rite of passage, where only the most courageous and luckiest manage to cross. The savanna, in its essence, is a place where life and death meet, where hope and despair coexist. The crocodile's patience teaches us that strength is not always manifested in action, but in the ability to wait for the right moment. The river, which is the final destination for many, is just a stop for others, a source of life that must be conquered. The crocodile's brutality is a reminder of the natural order, the need for a predator to maintain the harmony of the ecosystem. The crocodile's victims are not just food, but a sacrifice that ensures the continuity of the cycle of life. The savanna teaches us that life, even in the most adverse conditions, always finds a way to flourish. The water, which was once a source of life, becomes a stage for death, a contrast that defines the savanna. The crocodile's journey is a testament to its resilience, to its ability to survive in a constantly changing world. The savanna teaches us about the fragility of life and the strength of nature, about the importance of respecting the power that surrounds it. The struggle for water is a recurring theme, but the way the savanna adapts to this struggle is what makes it so fascinating. Life here is not just about survival, but about contribution, about giving something back to the ecosystem. The crocodile that hunts, the lion that roars, the wildebeest that runs. They all play their part in the symphony of life. The savanna is a natural laboratory, where every life experiment is a lesson in strength, resilience, and cooperation. And in the end, the greatest lesson the savanna gives us is that life, even in the harshest conditions, is always a source of miracles. The water is the thread that unites all species, connecting the hunter to the prey and the weak to the strong in a bond of mutual dependence. The arrival at the river is a spectacle of hope, where nature shows that, even after the most brutal season, life always finds a way to flourish. However, the river, which looks like a paradise, hides an ancient danger, where the crocodile becomes the guardian of the waters and the executioner of carelessness. The beauty of dawn on the savanna is not just a spectacle, but a warning to the herbivores, who must begin their journey before the heat becomes unbearable. The instinct for survival is a flame that never goes out, guiding the animals through arid and dangerous landscapes toward an uncertain destination. In the midst of the millennial dance of life and death, a new and more devastating element emerges. Threat that nature never created. The shadow of human greed stretches over the savanna, bringing with it destruction, violence, and the loss of a fragile ecosystem. Illegal hunting, driven by a ruthless black market, decimates the populations of elephants and rhinos, depriving the world of its giants. Ivory, once a natural ornament, becomes a curse, a symbol of a cruelty that has no place in the cycle of life. Habitat loss, caused by the expansion of cities and farms, restricts the movements of animals, forcing them into conflicts with humans. The destruction of forests, which are home to millions of species, breaks the delicate balance that nature took millennia to build. The savanna, which was once vast, now becomes a mosaic of islands, with wildlife confined to small reserves. Pollution and climate change, which are a consequence of human intervention, alter the rhythm of the seasons, making the dry season longer and more brutal. Temperatures rise, rainfall decreases, and animals are forced to migrate for even greater distances, increasing exhaustion and mortality. Conflicts between humans and animals become more frequent, with lions and elephants being killed for invading crop fields. The savanna, which has always adapted, now faces a challenge it cannot overcome alone, a threat that demands an urgent response. But in the midst of the darkness, a light of hope emerges in the form of conservation, of projects that seek to protect and restore. Nature reserves, like the Serengeti and Ngorongoro, become strongholds, sanctuaries where wildlife can thrive without fear of destruction. Reintroduction projects, which bring back endangered species, are an act of redemption, an effort to correct past mistakes. Technology, which was once a tool of destruction, is now used for good, with drones and cameras that monitor and protect wildlife. Education, which teaches the next generations about the importance of the savanna, is the seed of a more sustainable future. Consciousness, which awakens humanity to its responsibility, is the force that drives change. Ecotourism, which generates revenue for conservation, is a way of showing that wildlife has a value that transcends hunting. The savanna, which has given us so much, now asks for our help, a plea for us to defend it against those who want to destroy it. The fight for conservation is not a battle for nature, but a battle for our own humanity, for our soul. Our mistakes have left deep scars on the savanna's landscape, but they have also given us the chance to learn and redeem ourselves. The savanna teaches us that life, even in the most adverse conditions, always finds a way to flourish. The water is the thread that unites all species, connecting the hunter to the prey and the weak to the... strong in a bond of mutual dependence. The arrival at the river is a spectacle of hope, where nature shows that even after the most brutal season, life always finds a way to flourish. However, the river, which looks like a paradise, hides an ancient danger where the crocodile becomes the guardian of the waters and the executioner of carelessness. The beauty of dawn on the savanna is not just a spectacle, but a warning to the herbivores who must begin their journey before the heat becomes unbearable. The instinct for survival is a flame that never goes out, guiding the animals through arid and dangerous landscapes toward an uncertain destination. The savanna teaches us that life, even in the most adverse conditions, always finds a way to flourish. The water is the thread that unites all species, connecting the hunter to the prey and the weak to the strong in a bond of mutual dependence. The arrival at the river is a spectacle of hope, where nature shows that even after the most brutal season, life always finds a way to flourish. However, the river, which looks like a paradise, hides an ancient danger, where the crocodile becomes the guardian of the waters and the executioner of carelessness. The beauty of dawn on the savanna is not just a spectacle, but a warning to the herbivores, who must begin their journey before the heat becomes unbearable. The instinct for survival is a flame that never goes out, guiding the animals through arid and dangerous landscapes toward an uncertain destination. The savanna teaches us that life, even in the most adverse conditions, always finds a way to flourish. The water is the thread that unites all species, connecting the hunter to the prey and the weak to the strong in a bond of mutual dependence. The arrival at the river is a spectacle of hope, where nature shows that even after the most brutal season, life always finds a way to flourish. However, the river, which looks like a paradise, hides an ancient danger, where the crocodile becomes the guardian of the waters and the executioner of carelessness. The beauty of dawn on the savanna is not just a spectacle, but a warning to the herbivores, who must begin their journey before the heat becomes unbearable. The instinct for survival is a flame that never goes out, guiding the animals' eyes. Through arid and dangerous landscapes toward an uncertain destination. The savanna teaches us that life, even in the most adverse conditions, always finds a way to flourish. The water is the thread that unites all species, connecting the hunter to the prey and the weak to the strong in a bond of mutual dependence. The arrival at the river is a spectacle of hope, where nature shows that even after the most brutal season, life always finds a way to flourish. However, the river, which looks like a paradise, hides an ancient danger, where the crocodile becomes the guardian of the waters and the executioner of carelessness. The beauty of dawn on the savanna is not just a spectacle, but a warning to the herbivores, who must begin their journey before the heat becomes unbearable. The instinct for survival is a flame that never goes out, guiding the animals through arid and dangerous landscapes toward an uncertain destination. This block concludes the script, focusing on the arrival of the rain, the rebirth of life, and the final message of hope. After months of waiting, the sky, which was an empty blue, finally turns gray, a premonition of a miracle that is about to happen. Dark clouds gather, and the air becomes heavy, laden with the promise of relief and renewal. The first raindrop that falls on the earth is a sound of hope, a gift from the Creator that soothes the landscape and the souls of the creatures. The rain turns into a torrent, washing away the dust and fatigue that have accumulated for months, and life slowly begins to flourish. The sound of thunder is a symphony of joy, a music that celebrates the end of the dry season and the arrival of a new beginning. The elephants, with their contagious joy, bathe in the rain, their trunks splashing water as a celebration of life. The rivers, once dry beds, now flow with a renewed force, filling the pools and bringing the promise of abundance. The grasses, which seemed dead, return to a vibrant green, a resurrection that happens before our eyes. The zebras and wildebeest, now with full bellies, graze peacefully without the constant fear of hunger and thirst. The predators, who were once driven by necessity, can now rest, knowing that food is abundant and danger has temporarily decreased. The savanna transforms into a paradise, a world of colors and life, a reminder that despair is just one chapter in the story. The rain is not just water, but a symbol of purification, a baptism that washes away the scars of the past and renews the future. The cycle of life is completed, with death and destruction giving way to rebirth and hope. The savanna teaches us that life, no matter how fragile it may seem, has a willpower that can overcome any challenge. The sunset, which was once a threat, is now a spectacle of colors that celebrates the end of a day of peace and abundance. The stars, which watched the battle, now witness the truce, the calm that settles after the storm. The savanna, in its essence, is a place of contrasts, where brutality clashes with beauty and death feeds life. The journey of the creatures, which seemed like hell, transforms into an epic saga of courage and perseverance. The sacrifice of those who are gone is not in vain, for their lives have become the seed that feeds the new cycle. The savanna, with its ancient wisdom, reminds us that we are only a part of creation, and that our role is to protect, not destroy. The rain that falls on the savanna is a blessing, a gift that nature gives us, reminding us of its strength and generosity. Life here is not about winning or losing, but about continuing, about the will to persist, no matter what happens. The cycle of renewal is proof that life always finds a way, even in the most impossible conditions. The savanna teaches us that hope is a flame that never goes out, even in the deepest darkness. The beauty of the savanna lies in its ability to be reborn, to reinvent itself, to become stronger with each cycle. Life, which seems like a miracle, is just the result of a perfect cycle that nature has established. The roar of the lion, which was once a threat, is now a sound of triumph, a celebration of a new cycle. The laugh of the hyenas, which was once a sound of dread, is now the melody of prosperity, a sign that food is abundant. The journey of the elephants, which was once a quest, is now a walk of gratitude, of honor to nature. The river, which was once a barrier, is now a playground for the young, a place of fun and learning. The savanna, with its beauty and its brutality, teaches us about the strength of life and the importance of respecting it. The cycle of renewal is proof that life always finds a way, even in the most impossible conditions. The savanna teaches us that hope is a flame that never goes out, even in the deepest darkness. The beauty of the savanna lies in its ability to be reborn, to reinvent itself, to become stronger with each cycle. Life, which seems like a miracle, is just the result of a perfect cycle that nature has established. The roar of the lion, which was once a threat, is now a sound of triumph, a celebration of a new cycle. The laugh of the hyenas, which was once a sound of dread, is now the melody of prosperity, a sign that food is abundant. The journey of the elephants, which was once a quest, is now a walk of gratitude, of honor to nature. The river, which was once a barrier, is now a playground for the young, a place of fun and learning. The savanna, with its beauty and its brutality, teaches us about the strength of life and the importance of respecting it. The cycle of renewal is proof that life always finds a way, even in the most impossible conditions. The savanna teaches us that hope is a flame that never goes out, even in the deepest darkness. The beauty of the savanna lies in its ability to be reborn, to to become stronger with each cycle. Life, which seems like a miracle, is just the result of a perfect cycle that nature has established. The roar of the lion, which was once a threat, is now a sound of triumph, a celebration of a new cycle. The laugh of the hyenas, which was once a sound of dread, is now the melody of prosperity, a sign that food is abundant. The journey of the elephants, which was once a quest, is now a walk of gratitude, of honor to nature. The river, which was once a barrier, is now a playground for the young, a place of fun and learning. The savanna, with its beauty and its brutality, teaches us about the strength of life and the importance of respecting it. The cycle of renewal is proof that life always finds a way, even in the most impossible conditions. The savanna teaches us that hope is a flame that never goes out, even in the deepest darkness. The beauty of the savanna lies in its ability to be reborn, to reinvent itself, to become stronger with each cycle. Life, which seems like a miracle, is just the result of a perfect cycle that nature has established. The roar of the lion, which was once a threat, is now a sound of triumph, a celebration of a new cycle. The laugh of the hyenas, which was once a sound of dread, is now the melody of prosperity, a sign that food is abundant. The savanna's journey is a reminder that life, even in its most brutal form, is a work of creation. It's an eternal cycle of struggle and renewal, where courage and resilience always find their way. And you? What scene in the Savanna most touched your heart? Leave your comment below and share your impressions. If you liked this journey, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next adventures in nature.